All right, so today I want to talk about how to research and outline your YouTube videos now that you've got a few ideas for some titles you want to film. So I'm going to walk you through my own process and share my screen and also show you a few examples of what my video outlines look like to make sure that my videos are really helpful, informative, and help get more leads and drive more business. I feel like sometimes I turn on the camera and I kind of don't really know what to say unless I have an outline with some bullet points and at least a few talking points for the video that I'm doing. And hey, welcome to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Jacob. This channel is specifically for real estate SEO, real estate YouTube, and making better content if you are in the real estate industry. Now, first things first, before you go into actually doing some research and some Googling to find out what you should talk about in a video, I recommend just opening up a Google Doc, brainstorming some title ideas, and coming up with a list of some topics or some talking points or at least general things you want to talk about in that video. Do this before you go on YouTube or before you start Googling things to say, because I think that sometimes I come up with the most creative ideas before I go out there and start looking at competitors or start doing some research to see what other people have said about a topic. I just want to think of it on my own, build out some kind of an outline, and then start doing some digging. Come up with an idea for the title, and then choose 3 to 5 topics you could talk about. So let's say it's a suburb deep dive. Well, if you're talking about a specific part of town, you might want to start off with just general overview, lay of the land, where is this located, what's the general vibe of the area, and that'll be topic number 1. Topic number 2 could be some of the actual real estate information. What kind of neighborhoods are you going to see a lot of in this area? Are we looking at a lot of master plan communities with single family homes? Is it mostly an urban area with a lot of condos, townhomes, and apartment complexes? And then what are some generalizations about price and what you're going to get at certain price points? Your next topic could be maybe some things to do. If there are shopping centers, strip malls, if there's a big tourist center in an area that you're talking about, you could talk all about that. You could also make it more like recreation, things to do, parks, gyms. And then a topic I like to add to all of my videos, if I can, is new developments, new happenings. What are some new neighborhoods going in? What are some big commercial projects, apartment complexes, strip malls, shopping centers, gyms, business parks, anything like that, I think is always interesting to include. So that's step number 1, kind of basic, just come up with your own ideas before you start doing research. Now, number 2, this is a video for YouTube. So I like to start on YouTube to see what other videos have been made around the topic I'm trying to target. So let's say that you are in the Kansas City market. So here's one example, moving to Kansas City. If you're looking for ideas that work, filter one of your competitors and see what is most popular. What has gotten the most views, because that is your proof that this combination of a title and a thumbnail works. And then watch some of the videos, or at least pick out 1 to 2 videos that might be relevant to what you're trying to talk about. So if it's a citywide video and you're talking all about Kansas City, then maybe watch one of the videos about moving to Kansas City, or one of the videos on pros and cons or the top 10 reasons to live here, and just see what someone else is saying in your market. So here's another example for you, living in Houston, Texas. Again, another really great real estate channel. So this guy's Jackson Wilkie, knows a ton about YouTube for the real estate business. So he's a great watch across all of his channels. But let's look at his videos. So he's got a lot on new construction specifically, but he also has some of these citywide videos that have done really, really well. So right here, don't move to Houston unless you can handle these 15 facts. Pretty similar, but right below it, avoid moving to Texas unless you can handle these 9 negatives. So if you're making a video that's like that, it's a list of topics addressing the entire city. That's a great place to start. Watch your competitors' videos, see what they're talking about, see if they bring up some topics that you missed, see if maybe during your brainstorm session you came up with some ideas they didn't talk about. And for all the topics they did talk about, do you agree with it? Is it solid information, or is there something that you can say better, or just somehow make your video more accurate, more thorough, and more informative to the person watching it. Really, where I like to start is by finding some competitors on YouTube, or even just going onto YouTube and searching for the topic of the video you're thinking about filming. So, I mean, let's just say you're making a video about how expensive is Austin, Texas. You're kind of doing a cost of living overview. Go on and just kind of look at what is ranking. Okay, this one right here, pros and cons. Okay, why are people moving out of Austin? You could watch any of these videos that are already ranking for the topic. Now, you might or might not find one that actually matches the search term. So we're looking for how expensive is Austin, Texas. These don't quite address that specifically. They're more pros and cons. This one's why people are moving. This one looks like it does address the cost of living, but then the rest aren't really specific. Okay, this one right here, cost of living in Austin, Texas, 2022. So that video is 2 years old. Again, these are just examples of videos that have clearly performed well. The titles have worked to get results for them. So take these as a starting point to think about what your title might be, what kind of thumbnail you might want to use, and then watch and see what they talk about and figure out what you can say to make your video better or just bring more information to the table. Now, the next tactic I like to do is to go onto Google and try to find threads on Reddit or Quora. Go onto Reddit or Quora and start searching again for the topic you're thinking about making your YouTube video on. So I'm going to show you another example here. So let's go moving to Austin, Texas. And what you're going to see, one of the first ranking websites here is Reddit. So here's a good one. Why are so many people saying they regret moving to Austin? Now, here's the thing. You're going to go through these Reddit threads and Quora threads, and you might find a few golden nuggets. You might also find just a lot of banter or arguing. But the reason I like Reddit and Quora is that they will have a few little nuggets you can take. So pay attention to what are people excited about, what are people upset about or complaining about, and what are people giving advice about. So if you're looking for real estate specifically, obviously a lot of it's going to be talking about moving to an area, buying a house in that area, selling a house in that area, what's the vibe of a certain neighborhood or a certain town. And I like to go through here because even if you are the expert on Austin, Texas, you're going to see a lot of really opinionated takes and personal stories that people will share in these threads that you can kind of use and incorporate and be like, all right, so here's one thing you might notice about Austin. People expect it to be like LA or New York when they come here, and it's not. So if you're coming here and that's your expectation, you're going to be disappointed. Another one right here is that people have this idea of moving to Austin when you have South by Southwest going on, and it paints a different picture of the city than what it's like most of the year, right? So these are just some examples. I like to just go through and just kind of comb through the whole thread, maybe do some searching, see if I can find another one and see what people are saying about the area. Because you oftentimes might find some little tidbits and anecdotes that you wouldn't have thought about because it's someone else's lived experience, but you can kind of take that, modify that into an observation or a little anecdote and add that to your YouTube video. Sometimes you'll find some really good, just little tips and tricks that people will share about a different area or something they learned moving to a city that I don't always have because if I haven't moved to the city I'm talking about, or if I just don't have as much experience as someone else. Moving on, similar to that is to go on to Facebook or the Nextdoor app. So go look for Facebook groups related to the city you're in or the neighborhood or the community you want to make a video on. And again, same thing, just see what people are talking about. Is there something a lot of people bring up as a really good thing or a really bad thing about that area? Maybe there is a new development happening and people are either really excited about it or really pissed off about something to do with that development. Another outlet you can look for is local bloggers or travel sites that have content on your city. Now, some of that might be more about visiting and kind of the touristy aspect of your city, or some of the local blogs might be more about just things to do like restaurants, hotels, parks. So it might not be as real estate focused, but that's also another great place you can go check out. Now, the next resource I like to use is go to the local city website for the area you're in. because oftentimes you can find that there is a new residence page, or they might have like a relocation guide that talks about moving to this area, items to take care of when you move here, like getting your trash set up, electricity, sewer, and then see if they also have any kind of press release or any news or recent happenings that are relevant to the video you want to talk about. Whether you want to focus on new developments, new construction projects, whatever you can dig up from the city website, that's another great source I like to look for. Now, here's one quick little hack that I like to use a lot when looking for information is using the Filetype PDF search. So if you go on Google, search for anything you want, whether it's the name of a town, a neighborhood, new construction project, condo building, whatever it is, and then just add Filetype :PDF. This will limit the search results to just PDFs because oftentimes you'll find really helpful press releases, city ordinances, or sometimes some of those meeting minutes from city council. So here's one example near me, Lake St. Louis. So one of the results here is a new resident guide. Anytime I can go on Google and find a document like this, super helpful. I mean, you could make a whole YouTube video just about this. If I'm making a video about living in Lake St. Louis and talking about some of the stuff they have, there's a lot of rules to living here, information on city services, the boundaries for the homeowners association. They've got some charts, they've got some pictures. So it's just stuff like this where I try to get creative in how I go about digging up as much dirt as I can for a particular video topic. Because here's the thing, you don't have to use every single tactic I'm showing in this video. These are just some ideas that I use frequently. Because especially when you're doing a search like this, like I'll show you back to the search results, like you can just go down the rabbit hole of things that you'll find. A lot of times just helpful resources that the city has put together. I mean, look at this. So this is showing all of the new projects going on. I love it anytime there's a map or some kind of creative graphic because I'll just take those and put it into a YouTube video. Stuff like this, I love seeing this because this is, first of all, helpful to anyone watching your videos who might be unfamiliar with the area you're discussing. And second of all, who else is making content on this type of stuff? Usually not many people. So this is what I mean when I say you can just go down the rabbit hole. Like this is just unlimited ideas you can use to make different YouTube videos. I use this all the time for lead generation websites, not just YouTube channels. Anything that's like a map or an economic development report or city ordinance, I love finding these. And sometimes you might have a city that has some feature like this on their website. So here's one example with Chesterfield. So this is their map of active new developments. And again, like you can just click through here, you can find some of the biggest ones and just dig up as much as you can on a project like this and just talk about it in your YouTube video. So again, you can use that and try to find documents from the city itself. You can find these from builders and developers who are working on big projects. Those are probably the two biggest sources I like to find PDFs, but ultimately they are a wealth of knowledge if you find the right documents and just scrape it for interesting stuff to talk about, and you can make a pretty solid video from that. Now, the last one, this might seem kind of obvious, is sometimes I just like to go onto the MLS, or I'll just show Zillow in this example. Sometimes what I'll just do is, like, let's say Back Bay in Boston. I will just go on Zillow and I will just filter different ways and just kind of find ways to generalize what you're gonna see in an area like this. So if I'm making a video and I'm just trying to skim through Zillow, I'm not going to talk necessarily about, hey, here's the exact median price, here is the exact time on market, average square footage that you're going to find, because that changes all the time. But what I could say for a topic like this is, all right, cool. So if you're moving to, Boston's Back Bay, and you're looking, between that, let's say $500,000 to maybe $700,000, $800,000 price range, you're going to see studios and one-bedroom apartments. Scroll through here some more. If you're moving up, let's say between 1 million and I don't know how far I want to go, like 1.5 million. You're going to see some more two-bedroom options. Maybe got a three-bedroom option right here. Also a studio. And just kind of describe what I'm seeing. Obviously, I know if you are in real estate in your area, you're probably going to know the lay of the land. But sometimes I just kind of like to see it all laid out and just scroll through here and see, okay, cool. We got, a lot of some of these older buildings, brownstones. The higher up in price we go, we're starting to see some more of these luxury high rises, floor to ceiling windows, modern finishes. And then obviously, the higher up you go, you're just going to see more of these larger condos. Way more updated on the inside if they're not recently built. I like to just kind of scroll through and see what is around. Again, either on Zillow or I'll just go into the MLS for my area and see what's on there. Now, here's what I'll start to do is I'll start to kind of take that, piece it together, break it down in topics, and just start adding bullet points to my Google Doc for the video. So if you want an example, this is kind of meta right now. I'll show you, this is the outline for this video that I'm filming right now. Now, kind of one difference to note here is the fact that this video, I didn't really put research into. It was more thinking about my own habits and my own process for putting together real estate videos. So this one's way more just based on my own experience and stuff that I like to do that I kind of started making bullet points. But if you want to scroll down here, I'll show you some examples. So these are previous real estate videos that I've made. If you want an example of I would say a lighter video outline, one where I didn't really have a ton in the planning process, we can see here, I like to collect anytime a city or a town is ranked for something, ranked the best for something or the worst for something. Right here, this was the wealthiest and the number one ranking high school. I like to say those in videos, obviously avoiding any kind of steering or fair housing issues because I'm basing it off of a public source of data. But stuff like that, just kind of quick facts. Hey, we ranked number one for this, we ranked number one for that. And then just kind of some general bullet points around the area, upscale town in the middle of St. Louis County. And then just kind of some comparisons, some generalizations about the area. And then with this one, the school district is a big thing. So I kind of had to go through the school district map and piece together the cutoffs. And then the rest of this video, obviously this isn't everything I said in the video. This was just kind of talking points to get myself started. If you're someone who kind of would rather film a video on the fly and not really script out the entire thing, this is one example of how I have done that. I mean, we're looking at not even one page on a Google Doc. Now, if we go back here, Town and Country, this is one that had heavier planning using some of the strategies that I mentioned. So bullet points, just kind of high level overviews. But then you can see this one is much more scripted out, where I have a lot more written content here that I want to talk about, right? We've got some info on the selling prices, zip code, just stuff going on in this area. We've got the tear down trend because that's a big thing in this part of town. We've got a new development along with a map that I want to put in the YouTube video, picture I want to put in the video, info on the school district. So stuff like this again is an example of a much more scripted video. So if this level of planning kind of gives you anxiety, then don't worry about it. Opt for something that is a little bit lighter with a couple bullet points to get you started and then go from there. If on the other hand, you're more like me where I kind of need some more guardrails to keep me on track, to help me know what I'm going to talk about in a video, I will go for something like this. What I've also found for me personally is that I don't really script out my videos in full, but I will have oftentimes bullet points along with scripted sections. So you can see here, I will write out parts of the video. Now, again, this is not everything in that video. Oftentimes this will be like the intro to a particular topic I want to talk about, but this isn't the full script of the video. But you can see this video has a lot more scripted aspects than this video. And then this video right now that I'm filming here, nothing's scripted outside of the hook. So that is one thing I will include in videos, a general idea of the title and some stuff to say in the intro section or the hook, because those are really important. If you're gonna spend a lot of time on one part of the video, make it the introduction. That's just something I recommend. It's what worked for me. You don't have to, obviously. And then one more thing is that when you're going through, especially a lot of these PDFs, city ordinances, development plans, if you're digging up information that no one's talking about, whether it's on YouTube or just, information on new developments, I found a lot is hard to find info on. And if you do find it, it's just hidden in these long ass PDFs and ordinances. What I'll do is I'll just kind of take the maps, the graphics, whatever it is, and put my own spin on it. So this is one example. I don't remember how much of this was actually used in the YouTube video, but this was kind of a presentation of graphics that I put in a YouTube video on Wild Horse Village, which is a new development I was talking about. So I basically just scraped all the PDFs and the zoning plans and the building plans and just kind of put them here, added my own text to it. I hope this isn't what I used in the video just because that's kind of hard to see, but I kind of made my own graphics based on what I found, put together some slides, some drone pictures. I definitely did not use all of these, but this is just one example. When you're going through your research, you're going to find information, but you're also going to find some of these helpful maps and graphics that you can just kind of use and put them in your video. Because chances are there are not many videos, if any at all, that are using the maps and graphics you're talking about where, the city's giving it to you for free. They're putting it out there. It's just not always the easiest to find. And you can take that and make some really helpful content with it. So those are really the basic strategies that I use. And then again, however you want to compile everything into an outline, or if you'd prefer more of a scripted video where you have exactly what you're going to say, I would argue that's really just up to your level of comfort. If you're someone who wants to have everything scripted, then do that. If you'd rather have like 3 or 5 talking points with just bullets, that works too. Also really depends on the topic of the video, because sometimes, like if I'm talking about a new development, like there's a lot of graphics, there's a lot of numbers and some specific information where I can't just say it off the top of my head. I have to plan it out. So that's why I sometimes use more scripted videos. And at the end of the day, whatever works for you is great, because no one is going to see any of this. So it can be an absolute mess, or you can try to clean it up and make it more organized. I tried to do that for this and for the plans that I showed you, just because sometimes it is a lot more of a shit show going on in my Google Doc, but I tried to clean it up to show you what a reasonable example might look like. So that's going to wrap it for this video. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, comments, feedback, let me know down below. And outside of that, have a phenomenal day, and I'll see you in the next video.